Dear friends in the Dhamma, let us begin by bowing to the Blessed One, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, the master of wisdom and compassion. We gather here not merely to hear words, but to water the roots of tomorrow's great trees. Parenting is not just a responsibility, it is a sacred act, the transmission of wisdom across generations. Done with clarity and care, your child may grow not only to be a good person, but a bodhisattva, a noble being walking the path to awakening. So let us go deep, very deep. Raising wise children isn't about filling a jar with knowledge. It's about shaping the character of a soul. It's not about shielding them from discomfort, but preparing them to face reality with courage. And what better guide than the Dhamma, the Buddha's timeless teaching? Today I speak not as one who has left the world, but as someone who sees it more clearly because I stepped away. I speak now to you, fathers, mothers, guardians, not to lecture, not to guilt, but to walk this path alongside you. Along the way, let me tell you the story of a boy named Anuvet and his mother, not from ancient India, but from the village of Now. 1. Teach by being. Children learn by absorption, not instruction. You must become what you wish to pass on. If you speak of mindfulness but live in agitation, your child will learn anxiety, not awareness. If you chant suttas but rage in traffic, your child will absorb stress, not the Dhamma. Children don't memorize your words, they inhale your moods, your habits, your stillness. Don't teach children Buddhism, teach them peace, teach them truth. Buddhism will follow naturally, like a shadow follows the body. A mother once asked me, "Ajahn, should I teach my daughter the 4 noble truths?" I said, no, live them. Let her see how suffering arises. Let her witness how you respond. Let her see that craving causes pain and how you let go. The Dhamma is not taught, it is caught. 2. Discipline as compassion, not control. Even in the Vinaya, the Buddha gave consequences to monks, not to punish, but to protect their path forward. True compassion does not mean indulgence. The Buddha taught that real compassion arises from wisdom, not from softness, not from control. To raise a child without boundaries is like planting a seedling without a fence in a forest full of elephants. Let children face consequences, natural, consistent and firm, but from a heart that is steady and kind, not reactive or angry. Punishment born of anger plants fear. Consequences rooted in wisdom plant understanding. 3. Feed the mind before the mouth. Modern parenting overwhelms children with stimulation, screens, toys, distractions, until their inner voice is drowned out. Children need silence, they need boredom, they need space. Why? Because wisdom only sprouts in stillness. A constantly entertained child never gets to meet their own mind, and a child who hasn't met their own mind cannot understand suffering or how to overcome it. Let your child be still. Let them sit. Let them gaze at the sky. A wise parent thinks, "My child is not here to be entertained. My child is a monk in training." The story of Anuvet, the boy with the lamp. In a quiet village, tucked between green hills and whispering trees, lived a woman named Sumanika and her young son, Anuvet. She wasn't rich. She wasn't highly educated, but she had one treasure, the Dhamma. Each morning, before the sun touched the earth, she would sit in silence, a single candle flickering before her. One day, 5-year-old Anuvet asked, "Mother, why do you stare at the candle every morning?" She smiled gently. "Because it reminds me how not to burn." "Not burn?" he asked. "Yes," she said, "anger burns, greed burns, confusion burns. I sit to learn how to cool the fire." As the years passed, Anuvet watched her. He saw her stay calm when neighbors gossiped. He saw her gently carry spiders outside. He heard her whisper every night under the Bodhi tree, "May I hurt no one today." She never told him to meditate. But when he was 10, he took her candle, sat quietly in the garden and stared at its flame. She came out and asked, "Why are you sitting?" And he said, "Because I too want to learn how not to burn." By 17, the village called him the small monk. He hadn't shaved his head. He wore no robes. But he listened when others shouted, forgave when others held grudges, and gave when others hoarded. At 25, he became a real monk. But in truth, he had already been one for years. People asked him, "Who was your teacher?" He always answered, "My mother. She never preached, she practiced." And teach death as a door, not a darkness. We must not lie to children about death. The Buddha did not turn away from suffering. His journey began with facing it. When a child asks, "Will you die?" don't say, "Not for a long time." Say, "Yes, my child, one day I will die, but I don't fear it. I live well, so I will die well, and you will be okay." Teach them truth early, not in fear, but in beauty. Death is a teacher. A child who understands impermanence becomes soft, humble, and awake. A child shielded from truth grows entitled, restless, and ungrateful. The Buddha said, "Of all footprints, the elephant's is supreme. Of all meditations, mindfulness of death is supreme." Let your child walk barefoot in that wisdom. 5. Don't just raise a good child, raise a noble one. The Buddha didn't aim to create good citizens. He guided beings toward awakening. So don't stop at raising a child who gets good grades or stays out of trouble. Raise one who asks, "What causes suffering? What is the nature of craving? How can I serve others? How do I let go?" Encourage your child to sit, not as punishment, but as presence. Tell them stories of the Buddha, of bodhisattvas, of your ancestors who suffered and still chose kindness. Don't tell them, "Be successful." Tell them, "Be wise, be kind, be free." 6. Protect their seeds, guarding from modern poisons. Modern society throws 10,000 distractions into your child's mind. Screens, ads, noise, artificial excitement. A wise parent becomes a kalyana mitta, a spiritual friend who protects their child's soil until their roots are strong. Don't be afraid to say, "No, you may not watch that. We don't need that. Let's sit together instead." Attention is the currency of the modern world. If your child's attention is stolen, their wisdom is stolen too. Teach them to guard their mind like a monk guards his alms bowl, with care, vigilance, and love. 7. Let the Dhamma be your family's heartbeat. Let the Dhamma be more than Sunday chants. Let it become the rhythm of your home. Eat together mindfully. Bless your meals. Speak with kindness. Apologize with humility. Laugh gently. Read suttas. Visit monasteries. Celebrate Uposatha days. Let the moon be sacred again. Turn your home into a forest monastery nestled in the middle of the world. A child raised in such a space won't need to go searching for truth. It will already be growing in their bones. The story returns, the candle in the temple. Years later, Anuvet built a small temple in honor of his mother. At its center, he placed a single candle. A villager asked, "Venerable, what does this candle mean?" He smiled. "It's the same candle my mother lit every morning. It isn't just wax, it's a symbol." "Of what?" they asked. "Of the fire we all carry," he said, "and the practice of not letting it burn others." Then he whispered, "She didn't raise a child. She raised a lamp, and now I light others." Dear parents, seekers of wisdom, you may think you're raising a child, but you might be raising a future monk, a healer, a teacher, a gentle soul in a restless world. Don't raise them only for this world. Raise them for the unseen, the eternal, the next life. The Buddha was once a child. His parents were kings. But it was his wisdom that made him a king of kings, not of kingdoms, but of suffering itself. Let your home be a Bodhi tree. Let your words fall like gentle morning rain, nourishing, calm, and true. Let your presence be your child's first Dhamma talk. And one day when your child is grown, if someone asks, "Who taught you to live with such peace?" may they smile and say, as Anuvet once did, "My mother, my father, the ones who never shouted Dhamma, but became it." Dear listeners, may the fragrance of peace find its way into your heart today. As the sun kisses the mountaintops and the wind whispers through the pines, let us turn inward and reflect on something deeply important. Raising wise children with the timeless wisdom of the Buddha. Picture yourself standing at the base of a mighty Bodhi tree. Before it reached toward the heavens, it was just a small, fragile seed, planted in fertile soil, cared for with love, protected with patience. Children are much the same. We don't raise them just to survive the world. We raise them to one day free themselves from it. A story, The Child Who Listened to the Wind. In a quiet village tucked between forest and mountain, there lived a boy named Nalako. His eyes held the kind of curiosity that saw beyond appearances. His mother, a widow and humble weaver, often sat by the hearth in the evenings, softly chanting verses she had learned from a wandering monk. One day, Nalako asked, "Mother, why do you sing the same lines over and over?" She smiled gently. "Because one day your heart will open like a flower, and those words will be the sunlight that helps it bloom." The years passed, and those words echoed within Nalako. Then, during one monsoon season, the river overflowed and washed away much of the village's crops and land. While panic swept through the villages, young Nalako sat quietly beneath a banyan tree. "Why are you sitting there so calmly, child?" a frantic villager asked. Nalako replied, "Because the wind told me this flood will pass, just like every sorrow." And so it did. Nalako became known as the boy who listens to the wind. His calm presence comforted many. He wasn't raised with fear or ambition, but with Dhamma, the foundation of right view. To raise wise children, we must first raise ourselves. A parent without right view is like a boatman rowing in circles, busy but never reaching the far shore. Right view isn't something we impose. It's a fragrance that naturally fills the air. Children don't learn from our words alone. They absorb the atmosphere of our being. Do you wake with gratitude? Do you forgive with ease? Do you treat the ordinary moments of life with reverence? If so, your children will breathe that in like mountain air. Teach gently, live deeply. Let your life be the lesson. Compassion without indulgence. Compassion doesn't mean giving your child everything they desire. It means giving them what nurtures wisdom. When a child cries for a toy, pause and ask, is it truly the toy they want or the escape from boredom? Show them that true happiness doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. Speak with kindness, but stand with clarity. This too shall pass, you might say, like clouds, like seasons, like all feelings. Let them experience the precious lesson of not always getting their way. The noble silence and listening. Make space in your home for silence. Turn off the noise, set down the screens. Create sacred moments where silence isn't emptiness, but presence. Sit with your children beneath the open sky and breathe together. Ask, what does your breath feel like today? Teach them to hear the rustle of wind, the rhythm of their heartbeat, the stillness behind all sound. Wisdom isn't born from noise, it is nurtured in quiet. A parable, the mirror of the forest. Once, a young girl named Sarani followed a deer deep into the forest and lost her way. Panicked, she cried out, "Where am I?" An old monk found her beneath a fig tree, tears on her cheeks. He didn't offer directions. Instead, he pointed to a still pool of water. "Look," he said. She saw her reflection, wild-eyed and muddy. "Is this me?" she asked. "No," the monk said. "That is your storm. Be still." She closed her eyes. Her breath slowed. The water calmed. Her reflection became clear. "Now," the monk said, you are ready to walk. Sarani found her way back, not because she had a map, but because she had found herself. The middle way in discipline. Children thrive not under strictness or neglect, but with balance. This is the middle way. Discipline isn't punishment, it's loving guidance. It's helping them grow strong enough to walk with integrity on their own. Teach them the precepts, not as rigid rules, but as shining lanterns. We refrain from killing because all life fears death. We refrain from stealing because contentment is true wealth. We refrain from lying because truth is the path that never crumbles. Let them understand the why, not just the what. Seeds of mindfulness. Introduce mindfulness playfully. Let it be a discovery, not a duty. Say, let's eat slowly and taste every bite. Say, let's walk in silence and count our steps. Let them ring a small bell in the morning and close their eyes. Guide them to place a hand over their heart and whisper, may I be kind, may others be happy. These aren't small things, they are seeds of awakening. A true tale, the bell of little Anaya. A family in Canada once told me about their daughter Anaya. At just 5 years old, she placed a small bell on the dinner table. What's this for? Her father asked. Before we eat, she said, we listen. When the bell rings, we breathe. The family followed her lead. Years later, when her grandfather passed away, Anaya rang the same bell and said, let us breathe for Grandpa. No one had formally taught her this, but in an atmosphere of love and presence, she had learned the wisdom of letting go. Children are not trophies, not projects, not reflections of our unfulfilled dreams. They are visitors from the future. Don't hold them too tightly. Raise them with open palms. When they stumble, don't shame them. Show them how to bow to mistakes and begin again. Let them cry, let them fall, let them find their way back. Say everything that rises will pass, even sorrow, even pride, even this very moment. The real inheritance. What will you leave your children? Not gold, not land, but calmness in chaos, compassion in conflict, wisdom in the unknown. This is the real inheritance. If you raise a child with the Buddha's wisdom, you've served the Dhamma not just in this lifetime, but for many. Be like the potter, shaping not with force, but with care. Be like the gardener, watering patiently, trusting the sun to do its part. Be like the Bodhi tree, offering shade while their roots reach deep on their own. May all children grow like rivers, flowing toward awakening. May all parents walk with the grace of mindfulness, and may this world, storm-tossed and searching, find peace in the hearts of the next generation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.